Good morning. It's 9:30. We're going to get started. Always on time, James. Got to be on time. There you go. Hey, did anybody else get the Windows update, the most recent one? I mean, it came like early this morning and then shut down my computer for like a half hour. And then I went to open it up here and all my settings are changed. I mean, all of them. So if you have a major update coming up, just expect to be out of commission for an hour or two. So anyway, FYI, thanks for being here this morning. We have a couple of new faces in the crowd that I'd like to introduce. Up front here is Linda Della Rosa. She is a brand new agent with us. Wait, okay. Logan Hutton is right behind her. Logan is joining us from Coldwell Banker. And for some reason, Shane Coombs decided to join us this morning. See how much of a rock star you are?
So I was hanging out with Logan. Right?
That's your first mistake.
He says, "Hey, you got to come to the sales meeting." And I'm like, "Are you sure? I'm probably going to be out of place." And he said, "No, it's okay. You're good." And I said, "I've never been to a North Point sales meeting." He said, "Yeah, me either. Come on."
Shane, this is like my fifth one. We're doing it.
So it's great to see everybody here this morning. We have a lot of stuff that I need to review today. And once again, I have no idea what's going on with Zoom. So that thing at the top, I keep getting rid of it and it comes back after 2 minutes. So it's another setting. So I know it's there, it drives me crazy, probably more so than you guys, but anyway, it's there. First up today is Dan and James, and I believe it's Dan this morning.
All right, good morning, everyone. I hope you all recovered from the gala last week. I know I did, so it took me a few days. But anyway, just wanted to go over a few things this morning with Homesale Mortgage. Point out a couple things we have going on. Most importantly, right now through May 31st, we're offering a $500 lender credit. Ultimately, it's like a free appraisal, but we really can't advertise free appraisal. But ultimately, we're issuing a $500 credit to buyers to cover the cost of the appraisal. So generally speaking, an appraisal is $500. But we have coupons available. So both James and myself, if you would like some coupons to be able to hand out to clients, again, we're offering that from now through May 31st. So it's contracts now through May 31st. So they don't have to close by May 31st, but anyone going under contract between now and May 31st would be eligible for this, obviously utilizing Homesale Mortgage. Couple things I wanted to point out. Next screen, thank you. Obviously we're here. We offer all the products available: FHA, USDA, VA, conventional. We have now introduced construction loans. Both James and myself. I don't know if you've done the full-fledged completion of the training yet. But we have to work on that. So once we're officially able to offer that in full capacity, we'll let you know. But we are offering a construction, two-time closed construction product now, of course, with everything else. But a couple things I wanted to point out. So as far as appraisals, I've been getting some calls sometimes from listing agents with offers asking about our appraiser pool. And we do use all local appraisers. We do not use an appraisal management company. So essentially what that means is we order an appraisal through our appraisal desk and it gets assigned directly to a round robin with our local appraisers. And they are ones that you're very familiar with: Drew Herr, Jeff Sisko, Nathan Smoker, so on and so forth. So we don't use an AMC, which is definitely an advantage in this particular market. Secondly, and this has really been, in my opinion, taking a lot of deals at this point, is we're doing a 21-day close for buyers that obviously qualify. That means we can't use PHFA or USDA or whatnot. But in the past 2 weeks, I've gotten 4 contracts because of being able to close in 21 days. So that makes your buyer a little bit more competitive in a market where obviously cash buyers always seem to win because of the quick close. And obviously, if the cash offer is stronger, most sellers are going to take that. But being able to close a loan in 21 days is also very appealing to a listing agent as well as a seller. So just something that we've been successfully doing for several months. But I find that obviously the market is still very, very competitive around Lancaster. So being able to do that has really helped win some deals. And also direct access to management. I mean, being that, we are a local lender, I know sometimes you're dealing with online lenders or virtual lenders, but being local, we do have direct access to management. Obviously, our industry is 24/7. So things happen in the evenings, things happen on the weekends. We don't always have the answers. Much of our operations department doesn't necessarily work evenings and weekends, but our direct managers, both James and myself, we have 2 people at our disposal that are pretty much available anytime we are. So there are some situations where we're not able to, to make decisions or work through challenges, and we always have someone that we can reach out to. And I know both James and myself have been on the phone with, with our managers at 7:00 Saturday night, or 8:00 Sunday morning, or whatever it may be, working through any issues or challenges that come up. And lastly, I just wanted to point out that, next slide, the PA Act 75 update. So private road agreements, this has been something that I guess in the past there's been challenges being able to do a mortgage when a private road agreement was required. So they are no longer required. And this is something that is accepted with every agency. So that's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, as well as FHA, VA, and USDA. So that should really help considerably when those situations were obstacles in the past. And of course, if there is a VA loan involved, there is a recorded easement that is required. So if anyone has any questions on anything that I've reviewed this morning, obviously reach out to James or myself. We're always here to help.
Yeah, you can let it sit right there. In that regards, I remember with these private road agreements, a couple of years ago, I was in Harrisburg, and we had one of these private road agreements, or one that was not in place. And we had about 10, 15 people on a road that looked exactly like that. And everybody signed off except for the guy at the end of the road, who absolutely wouldn't sign anything. And the whole transaction fell apart because of it. So this is a big, huge move forward. You don't come in contact with them often, but when you do, they can be real headaches. So this is a big move forward. So thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
If there's
Why don't you come on up and use the mic while you're up next.
I was going to say, as far as the private road agreements, even if there's not one on record and you're getting a loan and the lender doesn't require it, it's in the best interest for your buyer to have something, because at some point someone's going to have to plow or maintain or do something with that private road. And if there's nothing in writing and nothing recorded, it's going to be a he said, she said situation when the road's falling apart or when there's 10 feet of snow. Someone's going to have to be responsible. And if you don't have it in writing, it's not going to be good. So I think of the due diligence for your buyer, and Tom, correct me if you're wrong, if you think I'm wrong, if there's not a private road agreement, do something to make sure that your client has protection and knows who's responsible for what part of the road.
By the way, Sarah is never wrong. Never wrong.
Come on, come on.
Look, I've gone down to, there's a private road on Camp Shand, and I went and visited every house on Camp Shand to get one of these signed,
Right.
just so you know, a couple years ago. But I just think that private road agreement, if there's not there, you have to do something for your client at the end of the day. And now I'm going to talk about tenancy. So this is something that gets brought up by everyone, just because at some point you have 2 people that aren't married that are buying a property. So typically there are 4 types of tenancy. The one is not on here because it's pretty self-explanatory. A sole individual owns a property as a sole individual. So that's kind of just self-explanatory. But the other 3 people can get confused or they have questions on. So typically, if a husband and wife are buying a property, they will own it naturally as tenants by the entirety because they are married. Every once in a while, you'll have a husband and wife who want to have tenancy separately or in a different format. It's very rare, but typically it's tenants by the entirety. That is the strongest bond that anybody can have when it comes to being on a deed. It gives just things can't really pierce it as much as the other tenancies that are on title. So for example, if you're married and you own tenants by the entirety, then your husband owes child support. Technically, he may not have to pay any back arrearage because they own it as tenants by the entirety. Where if you don't, that lien could become due at the time of closing. So typically, husband and wife tenants by the entirety. The other two get a little tricky. So if you're buying with a fiance or a boyfriend or even a best friend, the options they'll have will be tenants in common or joint tenants with the rights of survivorship. So a lot of times, if it's boyfriend and girlfriend or girlfriend or boyfriend and boyfriend or somebody that's in a relationship that's planning to get married, they tend to go with joint tenants with the rights of survivorship. So what that means is if one party on the deed passes away, the other party gets full ownership of the property without it going into their estate. Please keep in mind that just because that happens doesn't mean there's not estate taxes due on the other half. That's a whole other conversation, a whole other sales meeting. But that's typically what people do, because if you're buying with somebody that you're in a relationship with, you're doing it together and you want them to have ownership of the property. The other one is tenants in common. So a lot of investors will do this, where they're going in together to buy a property, to flip it or fix it or something. And if one of them passes away, they want their 50% ownership to go into their estate because they want their children to get benefit from that property. So like I said, every once in a while, you'll have somebody who's like, nope, I want it to go into my estate. I've had much older couples that have been established or married 2 or 3 times that are like, nope, I want this to go into my estate. You can always choose your tenancy. And I know it can get confusing. My biggest thing is do not advise your clients of anything. Do not tell them that they need this particular tenancy. Always advise them to talk to their attorney or their financial advisor about the right tenancy. You can always have them call us. We'll explain the differences, but we will not advise them of anything because it's not our call. We don't know their financials. We don't know their game plan in life. But there are all of these choices. So if you have somebody who's younger, ask them, what kind of tenancy do you want? If they don't know, have them call us and then we'll tell them the differences and then they make their decision. Any questions about that? Because I know it can get a little confusing.
Make a 30-second comment on that.
Yeah.
You can.
I can.
You
Do I
can.
Go up there.
You sure?
No, you can sit there.
Oh,
She'll hand
you
the
get to
mic.
sit there. I had to come up here.
Sarah, give him the mic.
Oh, now I'm going to give you.
So real quickly, I would just say this is actually a really big deal because I had a situation where a customer bought a listing of mine, boyfriend and girlfriend, intending to get married. I happened to be really good friends with his employer and kind of knew the guy a little bit. And he ended up being tragically killed in an automobile accident. Nobody cared when they bought the property. It was just no big deal. They were tenants in common. So because he didn't have a will, of course, his employer's life insurance all went into his estate, which his mom got. His mom basically took over his share of the property, essentially kicked the girlfriend out and took over, half of the property. She got her half of basically nothing at that point. But none of it happened like he would have wanted it to happen or like she would have wanted it to happen because they didn't pay attention to this at settlement.
And I do believe, and I can double check on that, if you do not have tenancy written on the deed, like actually spelled out, the default is tenants in common. So if nothing is actually listed, it goes to tenants in common. So this, again, like Daryl said, it is a big deal when you boil down to it. You don't want to think about that stuff happening when you're buying a property that, hey, this person I'm buying with might pass away in 2 or 3 years, but it happens. And so you have to be protected. But again, you give your clients the options. You do not make it a decision or advise them. You let them decide, but make sure you have the conversation about tenancy.
Thank you. Up next is James.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, so I'm just going to go over a quick slide here. There's a lot of things that go into home insurance rates, and I'm sure everybody's faced this as well too with their home policy increasing. What we do on our end is if it goes over X amount, my manager reaches out to each of the agents at each location, and we contact the customer to see if they want to requote everything. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of them, let's put it that way. But here's part of the things that are increasing the homeowners rates as well too. So last year, at least through October, there were 15 separate storms or other events that were weather related that were over $1 billion. So that's a lot of money right there. And then material goods, if you look on the left-hand side as well too, they are roofing and material goods for residential reconstruction. Those were up 15% nearly from October 21 to October of 2022. And then lumber and wood as well too. Those were up 6%, and there's still a shortage as well too of labor in the construction industry. So you throw all those things together year over year, that's going to be why homeowners insurance rates are increasing. And hopefully this doesn't continue, but for right now, it doesn't look like there's any end to that in sight, to tell you the truth. So.
Okay. Thank you, James. Appreciate the update. Up next, we have one of our VIP vendors, Karen Ackley, who is over here and joining us. And Karen, there's the one. Do you want the clicker on also, or do you want me to handle it?
There's so many, and I'm gonna fly
This
through
one
them.
right there
Awesome.
is to forward it.
Thank you. So I'm Karen Ackley. My husband and I are the owners of Next Door Photos. Have any of you heard of Next Door Photos? Good, good. Well, yes, I could. Wonderful. Well, yeah, there's gatekeepers in Berkshire Hathaway, so we finally gave in and we're now VIP members. So now we can actually come in. But we launched in 2020, and we are super excited with where we're going, where we're headed, and we really love what we do, and we have an amazing team in place, and we're really excited to work with more Berkshire Hathaway agents. If you don't know yet, if you're not using professional media, if you don't know why to use professional media, you can look at all the stats, but professional media gets more eyeballs on your listings, get more people through the door, gets a higher possibility of offers. So professional media is becoming a must for sure. Products, we are a one-stop shop. So you name it, we pretty much can offer it. If it's not on there, we can talk about custom products too. So anything from photos, videos, aerials, 3D imaging, listing websites, virtual staging, you name it. We also have reels now. We've been doing reels, but now they're one shoot, $50 add-on. It's a great way just to throw something up on social for a property. And come April, there's some really new good stuff. So I don't know, hopefully I'll be able to pop in for just a minute or two. We have some really good stuff coming in April that we just need to solidify before announcing. But very exciting. We have a team set in place just to stay ahead of what's going on. 1 minute online ordering. We have online ordering where you can actually see our availability. So you don't have to go back and forth with your sellers. One appointment for all media, personal local service. My husband and I are the contact. You only have one person to contact. We do have a team of photographers, but there's consistency in end product. Not just there's consistency in service, consistency in process, consistency in end product. And if there's not, we want to know about it because that's something that we definitely want to make sure that we keep sharpening our axes. Same day booking. We have opportunity, and we've done it many times where somebody needs something that day or shot that day for the next day, and next day delivery on everything. Just why helping agents win, the impact piece. This is why I sit on the edge of my seat. We'll get there. But quality, convenience, cost, all of it's right there. Quality, we don't claim to be architectural photographers, so we're not at the top. But we are if you look through our as far as results, it's very high quality, but we don't claim to be 10 out of 10, but our pricing doesn't reflect a 10 out of 10. But I think it's pretty darn good. Convenience, we are at the way top end of that. Very easy to order, 2-minute ordering, next day delivery, all of the convenience aspect of it. and the service aspect of it is extremely convenient. Price wise, we're not competing for the bottom. We're not extremely expensive, but we are not competing for the bottom either. When we cut costs, it doesn't come from our editors, which you'll hear why, and it doesn't come from our media pros because we don't want a revolving door business of media pros. It comes from my husband and myself for any discounts, which we're okay with to a point. We don't lose money, but at the same time, our editors are the main reason why we do this. It's affordable, sustainable, and we're extremely transparent. There's no hidden costs with where anything is. And if there is ever a question, we're happy to answer it. You have your national competitors where you get the next day delivery, the online service, you get some of those quick things. And then you have your local competitors that are much more connection oriented, much more have that local feel. Nextdoor Photos is a really good combination of both. We don't farm our photographers. We have a team of photographers. We treat everyone well. We have all of that piece of it. Everyone, you'll get that customer service and that local feel. And we do have that one connection piece. So you have, it's kind of like the perfect marriage between the two. We believe. And then the impact piece, this is why my husband and I do what we do. How we got connected. We both went to Messiah College. A gentleman from Messiah College actually started our editing team in Nairobi. All of our editors are actually men and women who have been rescued from either human trafficking, labor trafficking, or our Nairobi location in particular is near one of the largest slums in the world. And so it's just, that breaking the chains of poverty piece of it. Every shoot provides approximately 4 hours of paid work for them. We know them, so we can actually verify impact. So it's just been a really cool launching in 2020, seeing where it's at now, hearing the stories and knowing the individuals that you're impacting is pretty awesome. So we're thrilled. We were thrilled then. We're even more thrilled now with where our BHAG, our big, hot, hairy, audacious goal of what we want to do in the future. And then as far as next steps, with you guys, we are affiliate members now. We do have a Berkshire Hathaway coupon code. I'll follow up with an email. If I could get a list, I'll follow up with an email. The first time you put in the code, after that, we'll set you up so that you automatically get that discount. And if there are questions about products, because I know there's a couple different options for videos, there's a couple different options for 3D tours. If you have questions about it, don't hesitate to call. And I always say, this is my husband and myself. This is my husband's phone number. Once you text him, get my number too, because I always tell people, text us both if you have a question. We tag team. One of us is almost always capturing. One of us is almost always doing admin. And both of us are 100% involved. So we do have, this has all our pricing and everything. And if you have a phone, you can put it up there. But I'm going to follow up anyway with a link to our pricing, link to our website, link to everything. So you guys can have that. But I'll leave that up there. And I'm 1 minute over. I tried. I went really fast, but I tried. But I do appreciate, thank you
And
for.
Karen, just FYI, this presentation gets sent out to everybody, so they will have this QR
great.
code.
Okay, great.
Don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
awesome.
Okay.
There, I will give you that. And I will say this is like the most
That's it.
professionally run meeting. I've been to a lot. You guys are like, I felt like I had to, I felt bad. I'm 1 minute over.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it.
It's like, you guys are in a shape here.
All right. And joining us this evening, then before we get into our next thing, did I say evening? Yeah.
You're flustered.
It's been a long day. That Windows update really did me in. Yeah. Jen Doobie is here this morning. Jen, do you have a couple of, yes.
I didn't get a time frame, so here we go. So Tom asked me if I wanted to talk today, and I'm like, well, I've been putting together a presentation for Reading for next week, but I haven't finished it. So you guys get like half of it. So there you go. So this is some of you who come to a sales meeting that I've hosted every once in a while have probably heard this conversation before, but I'm going to start with, how do you make the most money in real estate? Okay.
You make sure people know you're a realtor.
And what's that called? Prospecting. So there you go, lead generation. So I just want to be here to remind you all is that if you are looking to make money in real estate, is there anyone here who's not really up for that? You need to prospect. And part of prospecting is letting people know you're in real estate. And the question is always, who am I prospecting to? Maybe it's I'm prospecting for investments, but any successful business has multiple streams of income, right? So tell me some of the streams of income in real estate. Where can you prospect to make money? Bob said one. So you can go out and find investments to buy, which is a great stream of income, probably one of your strongest. Professional networking groups. You have to go and talk to people. You can't just stand at the table or the bar and hope someone talks to you. You have to talk to people, right, Tammy? Right. I know, well, she's shy, but, and if you don't know how to talk to people, go with Tammy and she'll get you talking to all the people there. It is a true statement. I'm a terrible networker. I mean, I can talk to anybody once the conversation's going, but I don't love networking. But I've always found friends to go to networking events with that can always start the conversation. So it's a great opportunity. If you can't do it, find someone who can, and you'll meet some new friends too. Alexis, did you have your hand up? No, put it up again.
I was just gonna say buyers and sellers, that's your biggest.
Okay, but where were we going to find buyers and sellers? Okay, okay.
You're out trout fishing.
All right, so you're going to be talking to strangers when you're out and about.
I would say,
I bet you nobody wants to talk to you when you're trout fishing. I feel like I've been trout fishing and very chatty at 5 a.m. and people don't love it. Yeah. Right. Daryl.
yeah, I would say church, civic, and social clubs.
Okay. So more networking, but church, civic. Yeah, I always say don't join a church just to network. It's not really the right idea. But if you're into it, go to church, talk to people. It's good. Logan.
For your spouse.
Okay, from your spouse. So we're talking sphere of influence. So I'm just going sphere of influence. So we got investments, networking, sphere of influence. Referrals. So let's not forget that national referral. I think North Point won the referral award, right?
Yep.
Right. So outgoing referrals is huge. And if you aren't prospecting for outgoing referrals, add that to your list, your circle of 5 ways to make money in this business of how to prospect for outgoing referrals. It's as easy as putting something on social media. Did you know I can help you move to Florida? Did you know I can help you move to Hawaii? Wherever you're looking to go, sending notes to your family and friends and saying, I can refer agents to you wherever you live. Great opportunity to make an extra $10,000 in your business, $20,000. If you're referring high-end business, it's a great opportunity to send a 25% referral. Sarah, did you have your hand up? Okay. All right. Social media is a great opportunity. So that I'm not going to necessarily count social media because you can do social media to people you don't know, right? You can do geofencing, you can do ads that target them. So we do I'm like, well, what do we use for our listing presentations? We just changed it. Chalk Digital. Thank you. Yeah. I was going to say 7 Digital and I'm like, I don't know where that came from, but yes, Chalk Digital. So that follows people around. You can do specific ads to target people that don't know you to look at the houses that you want, and you can personalize those to you. That's all available to you. Where else can we do some prospecting? We can farm. I love it. Like old school. Let's do it. So I was laughing the other day because everybody on social media, on all the real estate forums were losing their minds because Op City is changing their format again. Like all the places that you buy leads are going back to the zip code plan. You buy the zip code, you get the leads. So what's old is new again, right? And people were like, well, what am I going to do? And I paid $3,000 and I'm not getting quality leads and blah, blah, blah. And some girl comes on and she's like, I knocked 50 doors yesterday in my neighborhood. I got 2 leads. And then she showed a video of her walking through her neighbor's house, and her neighbor was so excited to show her her house and the work that she did, and basically was like, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'd love to know what you think I could get for my house. Like old school farming. And the biggest thing is that that person was out talking to people. Like that's it. And had a compelling reason to talk to them. I have people who are interested in buying in this neighborhood. So farming, working your neighborhood, letting people know who you are, you know, consistently contacting those people is huge. So I think we just hit on 6, 7, 8 ways to prospect. The most important thing is make sure you're talking to people. So, but if you don't have those 5 little circles in your business right now, and you're only focused on one place, you're only focused on Sphere, you're only focused on online leads coming your way, you need to expand that, because the best way to have a consistent business is to make sure that you have different streams of income coming in, because when one of them goes away, like those Op City leads that people are paying for, then you need to have another way for the business to come back to you. So you will have a very strong, sustainable business if you continually have different streams of income coming in. So that's what I got for you today.
Thank you.
Did I go over my time?
No, you were right on.
All right, good.
Sure. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
These are coming out. I have to head out because Brad Zimmerman has 10:30. But a lot of agents said that these are good for their listing packs. We didn't initially make them, but it's the images with an impact. It tells a little bit about the impact piece. And on the back is a pre-shoot checklist. So I'll email this out to all of you as well, but you guys can take one of these with you so you can see what they are. And this is just our contact info.
Thank you. You can lay that right there. Thank you. Yep. It's interesting. Some of the things Karen said and some of the things Jen said are actually coming up. And it's like we were doing this presentation together, because a lot of the things are intermixed. We're going to talk about photography and other things. Just want to spend a moment and thank you, Karen. Just want to spend a moment and just recognize the award winners here at North Point. We had a really, really good year as an office, and some of you had some great individual years. And once again, I just want to recognize those individuals. Jen mentioned earlier about referrals. Carol Kirkner was the referral agent of the year. Our office was the referral office of the year. So not only did Carol do a good job, but all of you collectively did a great job also. Craig Hartranft got the top team insurance success rate. Lisa Naples was the Homesale referral partner top team of the year. Congratulations. And Sarah Tompost did more units than anybody else. So congratulations to that group. Yes. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, Alexis kind of helped her along the way.
Yeah, but it's been able to do it without her.
Yes.
You can't be straight.
Our Diamond Award winners, Craig and his team, the Schreiner Group, Patrick Trimble team, Mark Will team, the Platinum Chairman Circle Group, Lisa Naples and her team, Wendell Heward, the Risser Group, Bob Rose and his team, Tyler Stoltz and his team, Mark Thudium team. Next is the Chairman Circle Gold, Lisa Miller team, which is now transformed into the Daryl Hurst team this year. Mark Riebert and also the Martha Osborne team. President Circle was the Brenda Rutt team. Our Leading Edge group was Susan Allison, Carol Kirkner, Ken Kirchhoff, Dave Lowery team, Nancy Sarley team, and Nancy Werner. And our Honor Society Award winner was Louis Jean. So congratulations to everybody who did a fabulous job this year. Yeah. This appeared in the News. I was in an interview with our CEO, Christy Budnick. This is the article here. It's coming around. I'm not going to talk about it here in this setting, but feel free to look through this. And by the way, I mention this on an ongoing basis, that Inman News is available to you because you are a subscriber to Bright. So if you are not an Inman News subscriber, hop on Bright. There's a section in Bright that you can click through and get Inman News for free. But once again, because this was our CEO, she was one of the highlights this past month. Also want to mention
I screwed up.
is Tammy going through her jitters with her phone. Also want to mention our one of our Sunshine Kids fundraisers is this license plate, which is 00000, which has been donated by Dick Pace. Which office was he in? Shrewsbury? Yeah. He is retiring from the business. Yeah, retiring from the business, didn't just want to give it away, so we're going to have a fundraiser. If you would like a chance to win this, please see Janice at the front desk. She'll get you a ticket.
Can we just clarify that that was the very first real estate license plate ever issued in the state of Pennsylvania? Did you say that?
I did not, but thank you for saying it.
I mean, not because I was kind of like,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Numero uno.
And then there's an upcoming town hall meeting with Rod that I wanted to make you aware of. By the way, with all of these things with links, I'm going to send them out in the email after this meeting, so you'll have them available to you. And then our premier listing marketing package update. Jen had a meeting with the managers this past week, and we got a list of individuals who quote unquote opted out of this. And I'm not quite sure why. If you've opted out of this program, there's a lot of really good stuff here, but you obviously have your reason for doing it. See me. I'd like to hear what the objection is and also find out if there's something that you don't want sent out. Maybe we can do something a little special for you. So this is available for you. Look at Jen.
You know how to lose my.
Yes. Go ahead.
Are not marketing your listings as a company at
all. So this is when you go out with a Berkshire Hathaway home sale listing presentation and say, here are all the things that we do to market your property. That is the premier listing marketing package that is free for you. So if you're telling your clients that you're doing what's in the listing presentation and you've opted out of this, your client is not getting their properties marketed in the way that you're telling them they're being marketed. So that's why it's so important that you don't opt out of this, but we can adjust it for you in several ways or customize it for you to make it whatever you want. We just want to make sure that you're getting your listings marketed, because if you're not marketing your listings through us, you're not getting your leads opportunities either. And I think you all want to get leads. So I hope. If you don't,
At the piggyback on what you just said a couple of minutes ago,
I know.
getting a lead.
I know.
Okay. Thank you for adding.
It's just that we put it together in a list to tell you what we do, so you don't forget.
Right.
That's the only difference. We've been doing this for years.
In addition, we have monthly personalized marketing subscriptions. Each one of them is $10 per month. Once again, this is something that you can do yourself and it's free. But a lot of people are like, I don't want to take the time to get into this program and set it up myself. It only takes $10 to have somebody else do this for you for the month. So I wanted to make sure, I have mentioned this in the past, but once again, I don't believe everybody knows it exists. And personalized presentations. This is something Jen just said. These are available for you in our Google Drive. There's a buyer's presentation, there's a listing presentation, there's a luxury presentation. You can get into Google Drive, you can download it and you can personalize it to you. And as Jen just said a second or two ago, some of the information that's in here, a lot of the information that's in there is something that you're telling your clients you're going to be doing. Please don't use the presentation and not do things. Okay.
Don't be opted out, me, but here's what we do.
Some upcoming virtual training sessions. I'm going to go through a series of about 4 or 5 here, and then I'm going to relate it to some of the stuff a little bit later with the profile of home buyers and sellers. We have using social media. A lot of people use social media, but it's kind of haphazard all over the place. We now have a virtual training session that can walk you through this, lasts about an hour. Once again, all these training sessions that I have up here, I'm going to be providing links for you in the email that I send out. So it's real easy for you to sign up for these. Using Close to manage your transactions. I know a lot of people got involved with the Close sessions that were here at the office. We've actually had 2 here at the office. Unbelievable program. I'm using it. There's a lot that's to it, but you have to get in, you have to dive into it in order to get the benefit coming out of it. So once again, this is coming up. Advanced Bright MLS is coming up. Conducting annual real estate reviews. Well, an annual real estate review is a way for you, once again, just talking about, to prospect. Get back in touch with the clients that you've worked with in the past and say, hey, it's been a year, it's been 2 years since you've moved into your house. I can share with you what has probably happened in the marketplace that's affected your home value at this point in time. Why don't I stop by and we'll take a look at it together? Not only that, but you can also share, updates with them about, different things that they can do to their home to enhance the value of their home. Okay. And advanced dot loop tips and tricks, I believe, is the final one. All these are coming up in the month of March. Once again, I'll have links for you available. And then this came out, Bill Dinkle put this out. It's incredible what people come up with. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, other than the fact there are bad people out there. This is one of the people that are bad.
And they're really.
And yes, they're very good at prospecting. I wanted to make you aware of this because this is serious stuff. And I know we're all to the point where when we get these phone calls, and I've had agents come to me and say, hey, I got this person, I really don't know if it's a real lead or not. Read through this. As I said, I'm not going to spend any time going through the bullet points here, but walk down through this. And I can see myself, I can see you as an agent getting down to about the 3rd or 4th bullet point and saying, something ain't right here. Something's not right. So take the time to look at this. If you have a situation that you think gets close to this or falls into this category, come and talk to me, okay? Foreclosure activity. Man, I'm seeing more and more headlines out there about the sky is falling and foreclosures are going up, and they're using some big figures with this. And I would encourage you to just pay attention, if you've not for the last portion of the meeting, for the next 2 minutes, and just look at the big picture here of what's happening with foreclosures. These are actual headlines that are scaring the you-know-what out of your clients. You need to talk with them in case somebody is mentioning this, saying, I don't want to buy a home right now. I don't want to sell right now because everything is falling apart. Here's what's actually happening in the foreclosure business, if you want to call it a business. This is what's happened between 2017 and 2022. Are foreclosures going up in 2022? Yes. But look at the big picture. They're almost at an all-time low. And yes, from 2021 to 2022, they've gone up. Now, let's move back a little further. Okay, so in order to get to where we were in the Great Recession, we'd have to multiply our foreclosure rate times 9. It ain't that bad. Now, having said that, I feel bad for the people that are in this category, but it's not as bad as what the headlines are reading. Are the headlines true? Yes, they're taking a tiny little snapshot of the last year or two. Make sure that you know this as you're talking to your clients and they bring this up to you, okay? Profile of home buyers and sellers. This comes out once a year. And as I start this off, grab a pen or grab something to write with. And we're going to have a quiz for some valuable prizes. Ooh. By the way, the only people that are eligible to win these prizes are the people that are in the room. I can't have the people on Zoom, sorry. Not that I don't trust the people on Zoom, to be honest, but I don't trust them. Right. Okay. So this comes out every year. This comes out every year. It's put out by NAR. If the public tries to buy this report, it's about a $200 report. As an agent, you get it for $19.95. And as an agent in this room and in our office, you get it for free.
Oh, yeah.
We all like free because I'll send it out after the meeting. But it's 145 pages. It is loaded with stuff. And the reason why I thought it was worthwhile to talk about it in this meeting is because you will be shocked at some of the answers of what has happened over the last 2 years since COVID. And I know a lot of us have talked, geez, I kind of feel that this has happened, but I don't know it for a fact. Well, it's now fact. Okay. These are things that you can either adjust your business or you can talk to your clients about. Okay. So here's the first one. Once again, for those of you that need an instruction sheet to the sheet that you have in front of you, there are 10 questions. Mark your answer down. What was the median age of all home buyers in 2022? The median age of all home buyers in 2022. You need to answer this question in 5 seconds or we're going to be here for hours. Okay. By the way, those gift cards that I showed you, they're not that expensive. So it's not. All right. There you go. Okay. 53. 53. So now this is a little small, but I'll try to translate for you. Here's what happened from 2021 to 2022. This is all home buyers. Look what's happened. Look what has happened. So here are my observations. The median age of all buyers jumped almost 18% in 1 year. That is unheard of, 18% in 1 year. People are waiting longer to put their home on the market and move. Are you feeling that right now? That's what's happening. Guess what? It's more important now than ever before to nurture and stay in touch with sphere of influence and clients. And you can do it with close. You can do it with close. So if you're not utilizing it, if you haven't been part of the training sessions, get involved. It's going to be more important than ever because it's taking longer for people to move. Number 2, Which location was preferred by home buyers in 2022? Small town, suburban / subdivision, rural area, or urban area, central city? Suburban subdivision. So while you may have gotten this, here's what I saw as really, really interesting. Now, the suburbs is the top line here. Look what's happened over the last year. Yeah, it's still number one, but what's happening?
No more suburbs.
It's going down. No more suburbs. It's going down in addition to urban areas. They're losing. And the areas that are gaining are small towns and rural areas. Okay. We all kind of felt it was happening. So small towns and rural locations are increasing in popularity. I think it's probably because of COVID and what's happened. This is putting it into facts and figures.
People can work from home.
There you go.
What about crime in urban areas recently?
Yep. I think a lot of things contribute to this. Number 3, what was the median amount of miles between a home buyer's old home and their new one if they purchased in 2022?
Let me just write down the wrong answer.
Oh.
I do. Wow.
50 miles. 50. Shane,
Is that outliers that move across country?
Since my parents did.
median means right in the middle.
Right, with outliers pulling that up.
Look what's happened. This is 2018, 19, 20, and 21. Everything was 15. And then look what happened.
Oh, I had the wrong year.
You said before spring 2020.
Bob, you're disqualified. Okay? Okay? So this attribute has changed literally overnight. Many people can now work from wherever. Jen just said that a second ago. And are you letting your sphere of influence, and Jen said this in her small talk, are you letting your sphere of influence and the people that you know, are you letting them know that you can help them when they move out of town? Because I think I'd start telling them that. 50 miles. That's the median. Okay?
It's also like, you have to think that people like went through the pandemic and were like, now's the time to do what we want to do and go where we want.
Exactly. Okay. Number 4, what was the total number of weeks searching for a home by buyers prior to contacting an agent? Prior,
Survey based on 2022.
last year, Sarah.
This is how long it's searching without it.
Right. How long have they been searching without an agent?
I'm gonna try to spell word and get my answers.
See that.
The answer is 3. Okay. So this hasn't changed at all. Those are the last 4 years. They basically said they're kind of sticking their toe in the water and they're saying, let me see what's out there. And then after 3 weeks, they're confused as hell. They are. And they're saying, I need somebody to help me. And then they get in touch with you. So Buyers stick their toe in the water prior to contacting you for help and assistance. And what are you doing to stay top of mind as the go-to expert? You probably have received an email talking about Sochi. We actually have a live presentation here this afternoon with Jen Jones, who will spend an hour with anybody who wants to be here and talk about social media and what Sochi can help you do with your social media. Okay. What percentage of buyers found their home from a sign in the yard?
Just like driving by.
Yep. Drove by, looked at a sign and said, that's the house for me.
Oh, that's. I was gonna say, did they, or is the survey based on them finding the house in the yard and then closing?
Sarah.
Or not? Right.
You do understand that you would flunk the real estate exam. You think way too far.
Why work in title?
Yeah, there you go.
Sir, all the sellers.
What's that?
Sir, all the sellers.
4%. %. So now this is really hard to see here, but I'm going to try to translate some of this for you. This is where signs are, 4%. Look what's happened over time with signs. It used to be 15, 16% would find their house through a sign. Now it's 4%. One other thing I'd like to point out here, the green is friend, relative, or neighbor.
Should we be doing Tell 20? Like, go out and call them?
Hard to believe. So you are more likely to find your next buyer of your listing by telling people instead of a sign. And how do you do that? So 2009, the importance of signs has diminished by 66%. Now, I'm not saying, don't walk away from here and say, Tom told me not to put a sign on my listing. That's not what I'm saying. Word of mouth is now 2.5 times more likely to secure a buyer for your listing. Word of mouth. Buyers aren't spending as much time as they used to driving around looking at houses. And I wish Karen was sitting here. What do your listings look like online? Are you doing everything possible to make your listing stand out online? Professional photography, floor plans, virtual walkthroughs, things that she's doing, because people aren't driving around like they used to. They're driving around in front of their laptop and their mobile devices, and they're looking at it online. Okay. 6, what is the top benefit of using a real estate agent as cited by first-time home buyers? What is the top benefit of using a real estate agent as cited by first-time home buyers? Help buyer understand the process. By the way, first-time home buyers, 82% said that. 82%. Now, I got to tell you, one of the things I've learned over time, it doesn't necessarily have to do specifically with this. One of the things I've learned over time in teaching pre-licensing class, which Linda went through, is sometimes I'm speaking over top of the heads of the people that are in my class. And sometimes I get a slap in the face by somebody in the audience saying, what's a conventional loan? And I'm like, huh? And I'm thinking, it's me, it's my fault. You have to talk to the people, first-time home buyers, like they know nothing. Sometimes we end up in a situation where we're talking over their head and they don't want to sound stupid. So when you say to them, do you understand what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, Back up a little bit, slow down. Don't take for granted that everyone knows as much as you know about real estate. And are you spending the time to really educate your clients about the process, costs, etc.? One of the things that I see agents do all the time that drives me insane is they pull out a cost sheet from a lender or one that they just generated and they put it in front of their client. They say, here's your costs. And that's it. Take the time to explain what's in a cost sheet to people. Okay? What percentage of buyers would definitely or probably use their real estate agent again?
After 2022.
Yeah, I hope that.
Stop copying off of each other.
Yeah, that's hard to call.
89%. 89%, which means you guys are doing an excellent job. Okay?
No, you need to ask them for a review the day they get the contract.
Right. So 76% said they definitely would, 13% said they probably would, which adds up to 89%. Surveys have shown that only 27% of the people actually do use you. Why is that?
Don't follow up.
Not only do you don't follow up, you don't do anything. It's really important to stay in touch with all your clients, especially now. Remember one of the earlier slides here, how long has it taken between moves? 10 years now. Okay, if you fall off the map, you are going to be forgotten. So stay in touch. Will you be able to sell your book of business when the time comes? You're going to spend 20 years, 30 years in the business. With me, a little bit longer for me. How about, are you going to, when you get out of the business, are you going to be able to turn it over to somebody and will it have value? Or are you going to look back on your business and say, I wish I would have put things into close earlier because I haven't been doing it. 8, what is the median tenure of sellers in their homes? I just gave you the answer. Sarah, did you get this one? It's 10 years. It's 10 years. Once again, it is steadily climbed. It's kind of plateaued over the last couple of years. But one thing you can do, since it's taking longer, our company is involved with Buffini. We are involved with Ninja Selling. Both of these programs are designed for you to stay in touch with your clients and how to stay in touch with your clients. And it's a benefit to you.
I have something that I'd like to say.
Yes.
Speaking of prospecting, remember only 27% of agents stay in touch with their clients. So Bright has a class coming up, I believe in April, that is how to use tax records to prospect for new clients. So you can capture that 50% that are being neglected by their past clients, but have been in their homes for 10 years. So, you know, please take a look at that class. It's on Bright. Great opportunity to prospect people who've been in their houses for 10 years and get some information out to them. Maybe go do a little door knocking. I'm going to say door knocking 400 times. You know, go outside.
Number 9, what percentage of sellers found their real estate agent by referral or previous use of that agent?
I think it's one. Probably wrong.
%63%.
I wrote down there.
So once again, this is pretty small, but these are the top two answers, which I combined. And then it drops off to 5%. Drops off to 5%. So my point is, why do we spend tons of money on something other than those first two categories? And I just spoke to an agent in this room before. Referral fees are going up. Referral fees are going up. So, and Jen mentioned it, I'm not sure which program, what you said, Op City. They're changing it up. Rocket Mortgage is changing. I remember when I first got into the business, 25% referral fees. I remember when they went to 25% and everybody had a hissy fit. They are now at 50% and higher. And they ain't going backwards. So be careful if you are over investing in trying to buy third-party leads. Be very careful. You're going down a black hole. Number 10, what percentage of sellers contacted 2 or more agents to discuss selling their home before listing it? What percentage of sellers contacted 2 or more agents to discuss selling their home before listing it? 20%.
I should have answered it.
If you didn't pass this quiz, you should probably spend more time with Barbara.
Wow. So that's it. 80% of the people only contact one agent and they listen to you guys. 80%. Okay. So what I'll say here is, a lot of times don't screw it up when you're out there the first time. Sometimes the enemy is us. Okay. I mean, you have great resources. We mentioned a whole bunch of resources today. Know those resources and how they can affect your buyers and sellers. Our career development team puts together incredible virtual things, and they also record a lot of things to bring you up to speed on programs and services. They're there for a reason, so that when you're out on those appointments and you're sitting in front of that seller, the seller says, why would I go anywhere else? Bob.
They used to teach you, and it's wrong. Ask the seller what other agents you're getting. You should never ask that anymore, because they probably aren't.
Yeah. Most people are only going to contact one person. Be really, really good when you're out there. Okay. And here's the tiebreaker. Nobody can use their phone on this. Daryl, put yours away. Our convention is in Las Vegas coming up in less than 30 days. According to Google Maps, how many miles is it from the North Point office to Las Vegas?
Did you look this up when you were trying to decide how to get there? I feel like that's something you would do.
I was arguing with a person, and I was arguing with a person with from Expedia. Okay. All right. God, Bob Rose had how many right? Bob Rose had 7 right. Anybody have 7 or more? Adnella had 7.
Do you really?
All right. Bob, how many miles did you put down? 2150. 350? Did you say 350? And now that'll get you to State College. All right. So Bob Rose Bob Rose wins a Panera gift card. And Adnella with 350 he gets a Starbucks. It's coming. All right. I hope you all learned some things today about our changing market, what's happening with buyers and sellers. Use some of this information out there in the field. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Yep.